welcome back to another episode of Why I Love BNI, your podcast connecting with different BNI members on their business journey, their BNI journey, and what has BNI done for them in their business. So today I'm super excited to connect with Melanie. Melanie, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Macy, for having me on. It was so nice to meet you today.
Likewise. And I mean, Melanie and I are pretty new to meeting each other, but we met through kind of the power of BNI. If anyone doesn't know, nationally, BNI, or internationally, actually, I take that back. There's people from all over the globe that do a speed networking on Tuesday evenings. I'm not going to say the time because it could differ on your time zone. So just look that up on the BNI site. But you get to make so many cool connections because Melanie is in Illinois, right?
Yes, I am
And
in the
that's
Chicago
amazing.
area.
That's perfect. And then I'm down here in Florida and we still got connected and we're learning a lot about each other. So I'm super excited to highlight Melanie and what she does and how she helps people. So Melanie, why don't you kick us off and just tell us a little bit about your business and how you got started?
Of course. My business is digital marketing. It's called Success Marketing by Mels. I founded it probably maybe 2 years ago now. I started off by, going to school for marketing, and I fell in love with the digital side of it. I mean, growing up with as you know, I've always been super interested in it. So I kind of shifted my gears and got my degree in digital marketing specifically. And while I was doing that, I was also, gaining experience freelancing a little bit, doing many internships, all the fun stuff. And when I wanted to, start my own business and have people hear my voice specifically.
Mm,
And I think that's when I decided to, go full force. And now we're here a couple years later, and we are growing and being successful. So I'm very
that's
happy with where we're at.
That's so great to hear. I know digital marketing is, I feel like it's still pretty new when we think about it.
Right.
The entirety of Facebook ads. Like, another thing is it's always evolving. Like, I remember
Oh,
when I was a
definitely.
kid, Facebook ads did not look like how they look now, and
Mm-mm.
marketing on Facebook ads did not look like how it looks now. So I'm just curious in kind of a field that there's just always so much information coming at you, right? Don't post every day, post every day, post 5 times a
Right.
day, don't post 5 times a day. There's so much going out there. Is there any like small tidbit that you could give out to kind of help cut
Mhm.
through the noise a little bit? Like maybe a tip that you've really come to love, maybe an underrated tip, or maybe a tip that you're like, no, this is a real one you should listen to.
Mhm.
Anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. We actually incorporate IMC principles. So that is
Hey,
integrated marketing communications. And that just means that we are heavily analytics based.
gotcha.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, there's so much out there, so much information, post this, don't post that, schedule how many times. And I say, cut off the noise and listen to your analytics. You can
Yes.
usually get a pretty good feel of, what times your audience is hopping on or what videos, kind of flopped or were a little bit more successful.
Right.
Um, and once you start analyzing those analytics a little bit more, as the time goes by, you kind of understand how much you can post. So it's all about community at the end of the day. What are you doing, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Something that I don't know if maybe I've just noticed this or maybe some other people are noticing this as well. But Meta, for example, right? Facebook and Instagram have so many analytics now, and they have the Meta Business Suite now. So they really try to make it as easy for people to learn their analytics as possible. Do you think like those analytics are accurate? Like those are the ones you should listen to? Or is there something like sometimes people are like, oh, you don't want to trust Facebook, you don't want to trust this stuff? I'm just curious your opinion on it.
Yeah, so definitely trust Meta. Those are very accurate analytics
Mm.
of your Instagram and your Facebook only. If you're trying to expand to other social medias, each platform has their own kind of little section where you can check analytics and keep track of those. Same for your website. You can check their own analytics and just
Gotcha.
kind of focus in on each single platform
Hmm.
to create kind of the stats that you want because not every single platform is going to be the same.
Yeah, and I think a great part that plays into it is demographics. Who are you mainly looking to
Yeah,
target? Are you more like looking to
right.
target people on LinkedIn, maybe specific professionals that you can find easily on the LinkedIn search? Or maybe, you want
Exactly.
to expand to the Gen Z, you want to have those 20-year
Hmm.
olds with, I don't know, their disposable
Right.
income, and you want to target those people, and that's where your
Yeah,
demographic
even
lies
Gen
then.
Alpha, another target now. So
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting like how the
I
generations
know,
work. I
right?
only know Z because that's me. And I know baby boomers exist, but I think there's like two generations in between us. And then now there's alpha. So I don't know what's going on with
Right.
that. But that's a great point. Who are you really targeting at the end of the day? And you can listen to as much social media gurus as you like. But yeah, we were just talking a little bit about the generation gap between some of the target demographics we have. I'm just curious if anyone, has gotten really overwhelmed with social media, digital marketing, anything like that. What do you have as like a beginner tip? Like if you have to start somewhere, you should start with revamping your Instagram account or your LinkedIn or your website or anything like that. What do you think your beginning tip would be?
So actually, I think you made a really good point about stating, demographics
Mm,
and what platform to use. And I think that is number one,
gotcha.
kind of deciding where you're going to begin. And then from there, I suggest, I mean, look into your competitors, see what they're doing, see what's working for them, see what's not, and kind of begin and start to mimic that in a way. But obviously finding your own voice is super
Right.
important. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to make you go viral and stay viral, right?
That's a
So,
great tip. You definitely want to check out what's working for some people. You can learn a lot from people's stories and people's results, though you're able to incorporate your own voice and your own unique flair on standing out because you don't want to just be the other person down the street. You want to be you, and that's what people buy into. I'd love to learn a little bit about your BNI
right.
journey. Tell me a little bit, how'd you hear about BNI? How'd you get started? What were your first initial thoughts about BNI?
Yeah, so actually, I heard of BNI through my now, and he invited me because he has a limo position there. So he owns Limo Angel, also international. And I was like, oh, ever prior to that experience networking at that level, more, I don't know, professional maybe. And just being so young and being in a room with people who once I sat down, got through the process and actually made those connections, I fell in love with it and decided to join pretty much on the second time I was there. So
Wow, that's great to hear. How many members, what chapter are you with and how many members do you have? If you'd love to share a little bit about, your BNI chapter, what chapter are you with? How many members are you in your chapter?
yeah, so we are with Wildfire, Illinois, and we have about 23 members now. We
Mhm.
are getting visitors all the time, so we're hoping to grow even more this year.
That's amazing. Are you guys in person or virtual or hybrid?
So we are in person. I know before COVID, I think everyone was doing virtual, right? So
Right.
yeah, we're in person now, luckily. We meet at noon, during
Um,
lunch hours, so it's actually kind of perfect. We get to have our lunch and chat and make connections.
That's amazing. Do you have a BNI success story or maybe involving you or a referral you gave or anything like that where you were like, wow, BNI really does work. I'm so thankful to be a part of a chapter like this.
But I think one of the most recent ones that I can think of, just with the power of BNI, and the connections and everything. So I have a client who I've been working with for maybe about 4 months now. We met last year, so we've had growing connections for a while, and we always send each other referrals. So I think one of his workers at his business referred me over to somebody, and it was like their mother-in-law, and she owned an immediate care here in Illinois. And she kind of called me and she was a little distraught, which was kind of odd because I never get that. And she was just kind of at a point where she had completely lost faith in, digital marketing and social media. She has been with her clients for a little over a year now. And she had told me that, they couldn't surpass 4 followers on Instagram. They were doing Google ad spend, Meta ad spend on top of, just the regular other stuff. And she didn't see any results. Reviews were down. She was literally on the verge of crying, and I was like,
Oh.
"Oh no." And I do offer free audits. So I was like, "Okay, well, let's do an audit. Let's see what's going on here. Maybe there's something that we can do." And right away, I noticed that her website wasn't mobile friendly.
Mm.
So huge, huge red flag. And I want to move forward with you. And you are the only one that I trust at this point. So
Wow.
we moved forward. We fixed the website. We cut all the ad spend because that's another little tip. Once you're starting, I don't recommend, spending any money on ads quite yet until you for your demographic analytics.
Mhm.
And week we were seeing absolutely love it. Only passed 4 followers on Instagram. And
Wow.
she is just so happy, which is what at the end of the day I am here to do.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think that's a great tip as well. A lot of digital marketers will try to push Google ads or Facebook ads way too soon in the
Right.
game, right? If you don't have a website that works, if you aren't 100% confident in your messaging, like if you don't know if
Right.
this
If the
message
funnels
converts
aren't
yet.
right. Yeah.
Exactly. It's hard, and I know you want to get started, and that's definitely the first point. But if you haven't experimented with some basic copying, if you haven't really played with your demographic and really understood them yet, it really does not make sense to start with those ads because then you start throwing 300, 400, like the ads add up. And I think that is so great on your part that you were able to help her with that and you were able to help her cut back at least to begin with. So that's a really great story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
Of course. Well, Melanie, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it. This has been absolutely incredible. You gave so many great tips when it comes to digital marketing, which can be so scary for anyone to learn about. And that story was really incredible. Before I wrap it up, do you have what's the best way people can get in touch with you if they'd like to learn more, maybe to do a one-to-one if they're a BNI member, or maybe they're interested in learning about your free audits?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm definitely on BNI. You can find me through the BNI Connect app. You can also reach out to me personally through my email, which is Melanie at successmarketingbymels.com. And I hope we connect soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today. And to everyone watching, I really appreciate you as well. And I'll see you next time. Bye.